Whenever you stand before your team, the dominant message they receive is your conviction, even if you're not conscious that you have any. It was not terrorists that grounded and almost bankrupted American airlines, several American airlines, post 9/11. It was human emotion that did that. It was not terrorists that caused architects to have to think again about how they redesigned tall buildings in America. It was human emotion that did that. Without emotion, there's no change. If you're an educator, you know this. Without a passion, there is no learning. You call it Hebbian learning. People learn better when what they're learning connects with the emotional circuitry of their brains. People learn better when they're having a good time. So passion is not to be hidden in a time like this. It's to be remodeled and reshaped. And we do that with what I call the 80-20 rule, but some people who are more sophisticated than me call it the principle of factor sparsity. Some people call it the Pareto principle. If you know anything about the study of statistics, you know this man, Victor Pareto, who in the beginning of the last century discovered that, first of all, 80% of Italy's land was owned by 20% of its landholders. And over a period of years, he began to observe the same relative ratio occurring in other areas. For example, in retail, it still holds largely true today. 80% of sales come from 20% customers. In industry, it's much the same. In community groups, 80% of the work will be done by 20% of the volunteers. But I think it has an application for me personally. I don't know your situation, and you can always tell me in the break if you think I'm wrong. But for me, anyway, oftentimes 80% of my effectiveness comes from things that take me 20% of my time, my energy, and my skill. Because these are the areas where I am naturally motivated, naturally passionate, naturally gifted. Do you know there are 5 books on leadership released every single day in the UK? Every day there are 5 more books you could read about being a leader, like we need to read another 5 a day. And almost every one of them will have a chapter, a section on balance. And I know what they mean, but you know, most of the great leaders I've interviewed over the years for television and talked to in person, they're not balanced at all. Some of them are just plain odd. They're eccentric. They're not the sort of person I would naturally take to a party with me for fear they might do something. Some of them are very unbalanced people. I'm talking about the really great leaders of our time. But they know they're unbalanced. And they're willing to complement their unbalance with other people's talent and ability. And the reason they're successful is they have spent their time doing the 20% and leaving the 80% to someone else. Now, you can't always tell your own 20%. At least I've had to find others who can hold up the mirror for me. People I trust to help me find my 20%. But, you know, it's a challenge for me too with my team to hold up the mirror for them. To let them see where their 20% is and then try to release them. Because if you're doing things you're good at, you're doing things that get effective results with little investment of time and energy and money, your passion rises. And so does your productivity.